I will be making shredded beef in this video. You will need salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, bell peppers, onion, garlic, ketchup, olive oil, white wine of your choice, bay leaves, tomato paste, and tomatoes. And I use the flank steak. You will need white pepper and black pepper. I already put olive oil in the pot. I just let it simmer, and then after it heated up, I poured some beef broth. You don't have to use beef broth, it's just for the flavor. For my meat, I salted it and put pepper on it. While my meat started cooking, I chopped up some onions, and now I'm putting it in, and I got my seasonings together so I could begin seasoning. I'm going to use a little bit of onion powder, some garlic powder, and complete seasoning to put in here. I don't use a certain amount. I just season it to taste, so I taste it as I'm going along. And then I cut up some more onions and some bell peppers so I can start with my sauce. Here's the meat, checked on it for a sec. Now I'm about to begin on my sauce. I covered the pan with some olive oil. I'm going to add my chopped green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, and orange peppers into the pan with some onions. Just saute it until the onions are translucent. When they're almost done, I'm going to add some garlic. And again, all this is just to flavor, so I don't use a certain amount. I recommend that you cut the thickness into what you're comfortable with biting into. And I like vegetables, so I cut kind of thick. Make sure you're almost done sauteing your vegetables before you add the garlic, because you don't want the garlic to get bitter and cook too long. But you don't want to add it in too late also, because you don't want your vegetables to start burning. So just saute your vegetables. My vegetables is sauteed enough for me, so I'm about to start adding the rest of my ingredients. I'm going to start with the tomato paste, and it really doesn't matter the order you add them in, but I like to do it one at a time. I don't know, just a habit. And I use a white wine, Pinto Grigio. I don't think it matters what wine you use, just make sure it's white and something you're comfortable with drinking. Now I'm adding my chopped tomatoes. I don't think it really matters either on your choice of tomatoes if you want it chopped, stewed, or whatever. I just used what I had. So now I'm about to incorporate some of the wine. Again, I didn't use a certain amount. I just kind of went by sight and taste. And now I'm about to add some more beef broth to it just to give it a little more flavor. I put a generous amount of cumin in there. That's what I'm putting in there right now. Throughout the video, I added more. Or throughout my cooking, I added more. I didn't show in the video. With the bay leaves, I use these chopped bay leaves, but I also end up adding regular bay leaves. I added some oregano, some white pepper, and I don't think I show on camera, but I end up adding black pepper to it too. And I just let it cook and come to a simmer, and throughout it, I added more seasonings, like whatever I felt. So at this point, I got my flavors together, and I'm about to check on my meat, and it's done. So I take it out to let it sit and cool down before I shred it. The juice that it was sitting in to cook, I'm going to take that and mix it with my sauce and let that simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. And then I add ketchup in there for a little bit of flavor. It gives it a hint of sweetness. You can add sugar if you want. It was just kind of easier to add ketchup. So my meat cooled down, and to shred the beef, I just took a spoon and a fork and just pulled it apart. Started off kind of slow, but once I got into my groove, it came right apart. This is some of the beef shredded, so you can see it cooked all the way through. And I let it cook for about an hour and 15 minutes. So this is my sauce. I'm just stirring it while it simmered. And I'm getting ready to add the meat because it's been about 25 minutes. And I ended up transferring everything back into the deep skillet I was using because I just felt like it wasn't really a lot of meat to have it in the pot. So I just transferred it back into the skillet, and I didn't put all the juice back on there because I didn't feel like I had enough meat for that amount of juice. So I just added it little by little. And this was my first time cooking this dish. I got the recipe just off of different websites and just from eating it because I've been to several restaurants and tried it before. So if you have any tips on something I can do to make it taste better or something I can add or to make the process easier because it was a little intimidating for me, please comment below and let me know. Or if you just feel like I did something wrong, just let me know. And I used a flank steak that I got from Publix. It was almost 2 pounds. I think it was like a pound and 78 ounces. And it was $11.17, something like that. I think it was $7.99 a pound. So yeah, I got it from my local Publix and I used a flank steak. So yeah, I let the meat simmer in there for about another 25-30 minutes while I cooked the rice really. About the time the rice was done, I cut off the pot. I didn't record me making the white rice because most people know how to make it. You know that every cup of rice you use 2 cups of water. You put the water in the pot, you let it boil, you put the rice in, add your your salt and butter, and you put the pot on simmer for 20 minutes. So this is it plated just on the bed of white rice, and again, this was my first time.